Good morning, and I hope you're excited because I am too. Tonight, we start the second year of Canadian football on Draftkings. The first year was a lot of fun. The only thing I can say going along with that is it definitely tapered out as the year went on. So hopefully it is a situation that doesn't repeat itself. I would love to see the tournaments grow and all of that. These games are shown on TV, so I don't know if it's going to take a better effort from the television side of things to get more people interested. But yeah, how we're going to format this video today is going to be very simple. We are going to go with 3 players of a high-priced nature at each position. 3 players total, 1 from each position, discounting the defense, and we're going to throw out 1 value play to help you round out your lineups. Quarterback position is going to be a tough place to start this week. I think that I'm pivoting from my Bo Levi Mitchell that I mentioned in the article, who was very highly likely to be my cash game play and tournament play, to Jonathon Jennings, 9,600. Jennings going to be taking on an Edmonton team that he should have no problem working through. Now, the CFL is a passing league, but anytime you can get a quarterback who has upside with his legs, it's a huge, huge plus. I don't need to tell you that. Obviously, if a guy runs a touchdown in, that's 2 more points that he gets than if he had thrown it in. And hey, you always have the possibility that he manages to really put together a big running performance. It's highly unlikely that he's going to reach 100 yards, but if you know that your quarterback's just going to stand in the pocket and throw, even though it's likely that he'll pass 300 passing yards to get the bonus, those rushing yards are also very important because they're scored higher. So I like Jennings. I think the matchup here is going to work to his benefit. Should be a high-scoring game, and he is going to be my favorite high-priced quarterback this week. Moving on from there to the running back position. This is going to be interesting, and I'm gonna go this route, even though it may not work out that way. And it's a good time to mention, if you're new to playing Canadian football, you might not understand the whole importance of the depth chart, because in the NFL, I mean, everything's so widely publicized, and you know going in and week out who's going to do what unless there's some kind of an injury. But in the CFL, that's not always the case, and that's exactly where we are at now with the Ottawa running game. So going into the offseason, we were looking at a situation where it appeared as if Shakir Bell, who came over from Edmonton, was going to be the guy, and he's already been released. So that's a huge opportunity for whoever takes over. Now, Moisses Madu Jr. looks like he's going to be that guy, but the problem is the only depth chart I really think we could work from is the preseason week 1 depth chart, which actually had William Powell in the lead over Madu. Now, Powell only had 1 carry and 1 reception in the preseason game. Madu had 4 carries. So, I mean, this is the importance of the depth chart. And unfortunately, right now, we're in a position where the depth charts, they haven't been released yet. So I want to say Moisses Madu Jr. is going to be the guy that you want in this situation. But until we get confirmation with him sitting on top of that depth chart to let us know this is going to be the guy we want, it's tough for me to put him here. So I'll pivot after I've said all that and go to John White, who's just naturally a higher priced player to begin with. White is a do-it-all player for the Eskimos. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I definitely want to have some exposure to a guy who can run the ball and is probably going to get double-digit carries and also has presence in the passing game as well. So I think the upside here for him is pretty solid. Maybe could be the top-scoring guy at the position, but nonetheless, he's a guy I want to have a ton of exposure to in what should be a really explosive game tonight. Now, there's a few ways I can go with things here at the receiver position because it's locked and loaded. The CFL being a passing league kind of makes it so. Adarius Bowman is the clear cut. This guy's likely to get a ton of targets. Darrell Walker out of the league now, latching on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least in training camp, could open up a huge door for him to see further expansion. But I'm actually going to pair Jonathon Jennings with Emmanuel Arceneaux, who had a terrific year last year, priced just slightly lower than Bowman. Maybe the safety isn't there with Arceneaux as it is with Bowman, but the CFL is a spread it around league, so it wouldn't shock me if either guy necessarily didn't have that monster game we were expecting out of them. Both meetings against Edmonton last year, Arceneaux just tore it up, coming up with almost 40 fantasy points in each game. And while you can't necessarily say that that's going to happen again, clearly the Eskimos do something that Arceneaux really likes on defense, and he's able to just get over in such a major way on them. I'll gladly take, even if it is $400 savings, and go with Arceneaux over Bowman today. And I love the combination of Jennings to Arceneaux because when they are connecting for touchdowns, you're watching your lineup jump up twice as fast. To me, there's no other value play on the slate tonight other than Brandon Zylstra. This is a kid that I got really lucky with catching on last year when I did. Figured he was going to be much higher priced coming into this year, knowing that Darrell Walker was going. I was fully expecting to click on Draftkings, the contest when they were launched, and I figured I was going to see a $7K price tag for him, and I was going to have to really debate with myself on whether I want to do it or not. And when I saw he was $4,400, first of all, I automatically assumed he was going to see something like 60%, maybe even 70% ownership, because in the preseason game, he was being used a lot in a lot of different ways, and I get it. It's preseason. I totally understand. But based off of where he's setting up, taking over the Darrell Walker role, he does have some competition around him with guys like Vidal Hazelton being the biggest one, and DeQuil Williams, who's Duke Williams from Auburn, as many of us know, was a decently touted prospect before he ran into some troubles in the NFL, ends up latching on with the Eskimos here in Canadian football. He's the name to watch. I'm just not ready to anoint him the guy. Again, this is a situation where love the late swap feature for DraftKings because these games are staggered out through the weekend specifically so that they could air them and not have any competition with any other games. So as of this recording, we only have the depth charts for Saskatchewan and Montreal. Hopefully Calgary and Ottawa will release before the game tonight starts so we could have at least half of our lineups set. But barring some really weird things on the depth chart, I think it's a no-brainer to log Zylstra in your lineup tonight. All right, thanks for joining. We'll be doing this on a weekly basis as the CFL season continues. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Head over to researchfantasy.com, see what we've got going on there. Like us on Facebook at Research Fantasy. Follow us on Twitter at Research and Win, and join us again tomorrow.